One of our 2022 goals was to increase our food production, and part of that process includes making new raised beds in the garden. So this is the location, and this is also the video all about the process, how long it took, what was involved. So stick around, let us know what you think, because we were really pleased with the results, and I'm sure you'll be inspired too. So to kick off, we purchased the materials. We used 4x4 wooden posts, 3x1 for make the edging, and also roofing galvanized that was cut specially. The boxes are 6 foot by 3 foot, so it'll be very substantial. We need the thickest material, the best material we could use to make sure it withstands the test of time. We started by just measuring out where the screws would go. We used roofing screws that are specially made to go through the metal and to wood. They're also more secure, and they're also weather resistant, so they would stand against the elements a lot longer. Then we made sure we secured the ends first to make sure we'd have some support once we stood it up. You can't really see it so much in this video, but we really had to contend with the elements, the wind. Well, actually you probably can see how windy it was, and that was fighting against the wind as we held the sides together to put the screws, trying to level it up, trying to make it even along the 4 posts. As you can see, I did some of the work as well, not to be outdone, just to make sure that it was sturdy, and also to give me the experience of using an impact driver drill. Once all constructed, we then had to manoeuvre it into the spot between the trees that we wanted to be its final resting place. After the build, we had to fill, and we decided to go hugelkultur style, starting with tree trunks we had in the garden. The next layer consisted of branches and sticks. So we had large banana palm leaves, coconut palms, lots of sticks all around the garden, coconuts, empty coconuts, anything that could take up space and add volume to the bottom of the box before we did the next layer. Layer 3 consisted of leaves collected around the garden, which eventually will break down and decompose just like compost. Layer 4 consists of topsoil, which we've sifted first to get all the stones out. It'll also sit for a couple of days to settle, to get in all the holes and crevices before we put the final layers of extra topsoil, some compost and some potting soil on top as well. So to make sure everything gets off to the best possible start, our next layer is compost, and this is the compost I have been composting from stuff around the garden, the shredded leaves and everything over the past couple of months. I don't know how much we've made, but each cart apparently holds about 7 cubic feet, and we got at least 3 I used in these beds, and there's still more coming. So it's definitely worth finding a patch in your garden to compost, because this is like liquid gold. It's going to feed the plants really well over the next few months. And then we just smoothed it out and again let it rest before we put the final layers on top as well. Although the raised beds were functional as they were, I thought a few finishing touches, like having a rail across the top to balance my tools when I'm working, would be a nice touch, so engage the services of my neighbour, who kindly obliged. The railings weren't the only finishing touch. Before I put the last layer of soil in, I put in some ladder mesh, so I'd have some ways of putting a cover on, maybe shade cloth or netting to keep the insects out, and that's what I did. And then I added the last layer of soil, because as you can see, the box had settled by this point, so I wanted to make sure I hadn't filled as much as possible so I'd get maximum growing potential. And there you go, our raised beds are complete, measuring 6 feet by 3 feet and also 3 feet high. A lot more cheaper for me to make than to actually import. So hope you like our video. Don't forget you can subscribe to watch what I'll be growing next in our new raised beds. Take care until next time. Happy gardening.